This would strike us as pretty strange if we were hiring someone to design a custom tour for us and our loved ones. But they never spoke to us. They never asked any questions. They never really dove into what we didn't like or what we were really excited for. That would be a pretty big red flag. Hi there, I'm Kelsey Toner and I'm the founder of Guest Focus. In this video series, I'm sharing 7 of the most common and costly mistakes that tour operators make when they're trying to grow their profits and sell more tours. I'm also going to present you with an opportunity that instead of making these mistakes, you can follow the no-nonsense guidelines and practical recommendations of our Guest Focus formula. By the end of this series, I'm going to show you that your success is not dependent on the right software, the right tools, or the latest marketing hack. Instead, the single most effective path to building a thriving, profitable tour business is to put your guest experience at the heart of everything you do. I'll introduce you to some of the superstars in our community and some of the results that are possible with our Guest Focus formula. I'm excited to share their stories, inspire you to take action, and ideally have you join our rebellion against mediocre mass tourism, because we are Guest Focus and we are unforgettable. If you haven't seen the previous videos in this series, I highly recommend you go back and watch in order, as it'll help make everything make sense. Our next mistake is doing little to no customer research. It is one thing to successfully choose an ideal target guest, to niche down and focus on somebody that you're going to serve at the highest possible level. But it is another thing entirely to truly understand and empathize what those individuals want. Let's take a look at a quick Venn diagram to help make this more clear. On the left, we have you. So everything in that blue circle there, that would be your vision for your tour business, the values that you have, the goals for your personal life and for your business, and the ideas you have about your tours, activities, and experiences. On the right, that green circle represents your guests. In there are their pain points, needs, wants, desires, and dream scenarios. And where these two circles overlap is where we want to play. This is how we get product market fit. This is how we build a successful, thriving, profitable tour business that is meeting the needs, wants, and desires of our guests, while at the same time aligning with the vision, values, and goals of us as entrepreneurs. It's very easy for us as tour business owners to make assumptions about what our guests need and want. If we are creating a tour and we're struggling to sell it, if we are struggling to find traction, this can often be the root cause. Oftentimes, to get a good product market fit or to have a tour activity or experience perfectly align with the needs and wants of our ideal target guests, there are only small tweaks. It could be the length of the tour. It could be a perk, an addition, a subtraction, a different starting time, a pickup point. Sometimes the nuances and needs and wants are very slight, but it is important that we recognize that if we do this customer research before we jump into designing the tour, we are reducing risk. Many people get feedback from their customers when? After the tour has taken place. Maybe we find out on public review sites what people actually think of the tour, or how much they liked it or didn't like it. That's a fairly risky proposition. And we, with the Guest Focus formula, want to take some of the risk out of this process. Another way to look at this is to really recognize the audacity of trying to design an experience for somebody without ever talking to them. This would strike us as pretty strange if we were hiring someone to design a custom tour for us and our loved ones. But they never spoke to us. They never asked any questions. They never really dove into what we didn't like or what we were really excited for. That would be a pretty big red flag. This is basically what we're doing when we are designing tours, activities, and experiences without ever talking to, without ever surveying, or without doing some research to find out what is really going to make a difference to those folks. Now, the other way to look at this that sometimes makes me smile is we as entrepreneurs sometimes overcomplicate things. There's an old adage that simply says a way to make money as a business owner: find a hot market, ask them what they want, and then give it to them. Sometimes it doesn't need to be more complicated than that. So what is our secret to success? How do you avoid from making this costly mistake? Well, we encourage you to do something we call the Guest Deep Dive. Well, what is it? It's a specific method for finding out essential info about your potential customers. It'll give you clarity about what opportunities exist for products and services, plus the confidence to move forward when investing your time and resources in developing them. The ideal time to do a guest deep dive is obviously before you've committed to making a specific product for a specific market. The mistake that most tour operators make is that we create a tour and then we wonder why it doesn't sell. A guest deep dive keeps you from guessing what your ideal target guests want. Now, if you have existing products and services, a guest deep dive is a way for you to unlock the true potential of those products and services and further refine them so that they better align with your ideal target guests. Now, in the Guest Focus coaching program, we have a step-by-step guide on how to do this efficiently and effectively. But here are 3 ways that you can do a guest deep dive on your own. The first and most obvious is the interview. You simply get somebody on the phone, on Zoom, or even over text, and you ask a series of specific questions. Doing this in real time allows you to go deeper and potentially probe when you find something interesting. You can say some prompts like, could you tell me a little bit more about that? Or can you explain what you mean? That is a great way to do a guest deep dive. And we highly recommend, no matter what style of guest deep dive you're doing, you always get a few people on the phone. This can be an eye-opening experience. The second way is via a survey. We actually have a guest deep dive Google form that you can copy quickly so you could rapidly do this in the program. But quite simply, you ask a few strategic questions that are intentionally open-ended, and then you email this out or potentially distribute it to some of your ideal target guests who might be hanging out in communities, in Facebook groups, or on forums. And via this survey method, you're able to get obviously a larger volume of answers. The survey method is excellent if you have a large customer list or email list, and inside that email list are the people you are looking to serve. The third way is what we call stealth research. This is when we are passively observing and listening in on and reading conversations that our ideal target guests are having. Facebook groups, meetups, Reddit, and forums across the web are a great place to go and look at some of the pain points, frustrations, challenges, even needs and wants that people are having when they're coming to your destination or looking to plan their trips. These are the 3 main forms of the guest deep dive: the interview, the survey, and the stealth. But let's now go one layer deeper, because we can have conversations with folks we're looking to serve, but if we're not asking the right questions, we may not be getting the information that is truly useful to us. That's why we're going to encourage you to use 2 very specific open-ended questions. This is the most important question we can ask the people we are aiming to serve. We call this the single most important question, and it is intentionally open-ended, and it starts like this. What are your biggest challenges or frustrations when it comes to, and then you insert the niche, the tour or activity, the area in which you are working. So for example, what are your biggest challenges and frustrations when it comes to organizing a hen party in Sydney? What are your biggest challenges when it comes to doing outdoor activities around New York City? What are your biggest frustrations when it comes to booking a field trip for your English as a second language class? Notice how we are not asking yes or no questions. And here we are intentionally focused on their pain points, because people often don't know what they want, but they often have a very clear idea of what they don't want. Henry Ford famously said, if I had asked people what they had wanted, well, they would have said faster horses. Now, we often encounter tour business owners who are a little bit hesitant to ask this type of negative question. After all, we're in tourism, right? Where everybody's happy, we're on holiday, and we're generally upbeat, positive people. But this is actually the most effective question that you can ask. And it is because of this. Everybody buys products and services to solve problems. Full stop. There are no exceptions. The flip question is simply what we call the dream scenario question. And we say, if you could have the perfect outdoor experience in New York City, what would it look like? Tell us your dream scenario. And here, by flipping the question around, we do give people the opportunity to tell us exactly what their dream scenario would be. Now, in both cases, I want you to appreciate that we're still ultimately going to be looking for the problems we can solve with our tours and activities. That problem might simply be, hey, I'm looking to have an authentic Italian experience where I can have dinner with a nonna in the mountains and have a beautiful view. Well, guess what? That's a very positive aspirational thing, but let's say you want to go do that. You instantly hit a whole series of problems. How do I find this Nona? Where are they? Can I be sure that they actually speak English? Is there an operator who could take me there? Can I trust them? Where can I find their online reviews? And how can I actually get somebody on the phone to discuss this? You'll see there's a whole host of problems that are associated with travel and tourism, and we need to make sure that we are lining up our tours, activities, and experiences as solutions to some of the pain points, problems, challenges, and frustrations that we find in this guest deep dive. In the upcoming videos in this series, I'm going to be sharing stories from members in our coaching program who are leveraging their guest deep dives to not only design better tours, but to also come up with irresistible tour descriptions and compelling marketing campaigns. Think of your guest deep dive as a well that you get to come back to time and time again with the guest focus formula. One final note on guest deep dives. These are not something that we do once and then we never do again. Doing regular guest deep dives are essential if you would like to capture some of the opportunities that may be in your marketplace. If you're interested in expanding or adding new tours, products, or experiences, and especially if the market conditions are changing. It is always a good time to check back in with the people that you're looking to serve, because things change through time, and what they need, want, and desire 2 years ago may not be what they need, want, and desire here today. Okay, it is time to take action. If you have done little to no customer research in the past, I highly encourage you to do a guest deep dive. The sooner the better. Remember, you can do this with interview style, phone calls, or Zoom. You can do it in stealth mode in Facebook communities and forums where your ideal target guests may be hanging out. Or thirdly, you can do a survey. Now, if you are nervous about this, or you'd like to know the 3 other essential questions that we highly recommend you include in a guest deep dive, then I'd like to invite you to book a one-on-one strategy call with one of our tour business coaches. These are casual, fun conversations, and it would be our pleasure to help you with this guest deep dive and help you get some results. You can learn more at guestfocus.com/book a call. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next video where we break down another mistake that might be preventing you from selling more tours.